Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So somebody had requested for a video on Graptopetalum Purple Delight care. I'm not very sure if I made the video earlier. I couldn't find it myself, so I thought I will share it with you guys once again. Now this is the Graptopetalum Purple Delight. It's one of the most easiest succulent to be grown. That's why I recommend a lot of beginners to add this in your collection. Apart from that, this is one of the fast selling succulent in my collection. I am completely exhausted. This is the only one that I have. I have ordered few more, but they are not in a very good condition. Probably I'll show it to you in some other video. I had a request for 3 Graptopetalum Purple Delight. Unfortunately, I was out of stock, so I could only give 2 of them. You can see it on the screen. These were the ones that had recently sold. So I could only send 2 of them, even though I have this one, but I didn't want to send it because this is the only one that I have right now. And you must be wondering why I'm not selling this one, because you can see overall the shape is not very good as per what I prefer to sell it. The reason is because you can see the lower leaves. I have taken out a lot of lower leaves for propagation. I will be taking them out from this one as well. That's the reason why it doesn't look very perfect, and I didn't want to sell it off. But as I said, it is one of the most easiest succulent to take care. It's a very non-fussy succulent, provided you give the basic care requirements. So we'll talk about the basic care requirements, starting off with light. They prefer a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating it. Do not keep them in less light or in a less intensity of light. They will start to stretch. They prefer a good amount of light. The soil has to be loose, porous, well draining. Always go for a soil mix that tends to dry within 3 or 4 days. 4 days is max. By the 4th day, your soil should be completely bone dry because they do not like a lot of moisture in the leaves. Now, even though their leaves are not very thin, at the same time, they are not very chubby. They are somewhere in between, as you can see. So they do not like a lot of moisture in the soil. If there is excess moisture in the soil, the leaves will start to fall with a slightest touch. So you have to be extremely careful. Go for a soil mix that is well draining, loose, porous, and lean in organic matter. Their growing period is now during the winters. If you are planning to propagate them, this is the right time to propagate them. If you are a person who uses fertilizers, you can do it right now because summer is their dormant period. Watering. Whenever you see that the soil is completely bone dry, you can wait for a couple of days. As I said, they have a little chunky leaves, so they can store a little bit of water. Don't be in a hurry to water them excessively, especially when the leaves start to open up wide. That indicates that they are well hydrated. You can see my leaves are very well hydrated. There are no wrinkles present on them, which indicates that they are very well hydrated. Whenever you see your succulent is looking like this, please refrain from watering, wait for a couple of days and then go ahead and water it. Now, talking about propagation, as I said, leaf propagation is one of the method you can go with. You can go with stem cutting, separating of the offsets, beheading, whichever option you are okay with. I had done some leaf propagations. You can see these are the 2 Graptopetalum Purple Delight. They look absolutely beautiful from day 1 when they start growing from pups. They are very chubby from day 1 and they look absolutely beautiful. Very, very easy to propagate via leaves. The propagation starts very soon. Now these leaves, I have just taken them out. Within a week or less than a week, they will start to show pups on them because they are very easy to propagate via leaf propagation, and the rate of propagation or the success rate is also much higher. The rate of the pups growing is also a little bit faster as compared to the other succulents. So in all terms, whether it's the color, whether it's the structure, whether it's the growing rate, everything is so perfect. I would say it's a 10 on 10. Very easy to grow succulents. So if you're looking out for a succulent that is very easy, you are just starting off with succulents, this is definitely one of the succulent you can add in your collection. It is perfect in all terms because there are certain succulents that look pretty but are very difficult to propagate or are very difficult to root in cuttings. These are the ones that will work out really well. Look wise, propagation wise, they are perfect. They do not get affected with powdery mildew, or they do not get affected much with pest issues. They are very low on mealybug attack as for what I have noticed. Again, it depends upon your soil as well and what climate you are and how you are treating your plants. It's not that just because I said it has a low rate of getting infested with pests that it will not get attacked, because it all depends upon your environment. If you have mealybugs or powdery mildew on your other plants, of course it will get transferred onto it. So ensure you're keeping everything in check. do a visual check once in 2 weeks or once in 3 weeks. You can sprinkle some dry cinnamon powder on the soil. That is also a type of precaution you can take against fungus, mold, or even pest issues. So overall the plant is doing quite well. As I said, it is one of the fastest selling succulent in my collection, so I'm trying to propagate as much as possible. But again, this is going to take a very long time. Of course, I cannot sell this right now. It has to reach at least another couple of inches, and only then I can sell. Maybe after a year or year and a half, probably if they reach a decent size, I can sell them. So right now I'm trying to propagate as many as I can because a lot of people have been asking. I did get some, but they are not in a very good condition. I will definitely show it to you in some other video. If you are looking out for an easy succulent, this is one of the succulent you can add in your collection. The colors will get even more intense as and when the environment gets cold, but during summers they tend to get these purple freckles because that's when the plant gets into its dormant stage. But the color will all depend upon how much of light you provide and how you plan to stress them. Of course, if you are from a place wherein the temperatures are very high, do not stress your succulents because that is going to damage your succulents. Stressing of succulents, I would say if you are a beginner, don't get into that lane because that is a little bit tricky subject. A lot of times beginners want to immediately start stressing the succulents because they want colors, and in that process they tend to damage the plant. As a beginner, you should not even focus on stressing your succulents. You should more focus on how to make your succulent healthy, how to give them the best comfortness. Stressing of succulents is something that can happen later because a lot of times people want to have intense color, and in that process they either dehydrate the succulent or they tend to burn the succulent by putting it out in too much of direct sunlight with less water. Because the subject of stressing succulents can be a little bit tricky in the initial stage because you need to have that proper knowledge where you can draw the line, where your succulent cannot take underwatering to a certain extent. A lot of times people do underwatering excessively and end up getting a very wrinkled succulent or a succulent that is starting to drop its leaves, because underwatering is good, but to an extent you cannot do it excessively. That will dehydrate the succulent. As you can see over here, my Ben Buddies, it is stressing. The leaves are closing inwards, but at the same time it is not dehydrated. Same thing goes with my Hercules over here. It is kind of closing its leaves inwards. It is stressing. At the same time, it is not dehydrated. Probably in 3 or 4 days, it would be eligible for watering. So this is how I tend to take care. Again, guys, as I said, this comes with experience. It's not something that is going to come immediately within a week or within a month. It takes years and years to understand them because every succulent has a very different need. Probably if you are a beginner, if you're going to add 3 of these succulents together in the same pot, you might have issues. So if you are a beginner, keep them in individual pots. Every succulent that is from a different genus, try to keep them in individual pots. Do not club them all together. I've seen a lot of beginners, they get succulents and they put everything together. They don't even know whether that succulent has the same watering requirements or the same sunlight requirements. They tend to club everything together, and by probably in a month or maybe 2 months time, something starts to rot or something starts to stretch. So you have to be extremely careful. So guys, that was all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.